I want to share my opinion on generators. Here we have two very different types of generators. This one here is what I call a traditional generator. It's the least expensive type and the most ubiquitous. Easy to find at any big box or hardware store. The big advantage is that this one makes 240 volt split phase power and a lot of it. 8,000 watts is enough to power most houses, including your air conditioner, well pump, lights, fridge, and etc. But here are some big disadvantages. It's noisy. I really don't want to listen to this outside my bedroom window when it's time to sleep. It's on par with the amount of noise that a lawnmower makes, and it's just tons of noise pollution. This type of generator has to spin at precisely 3,600 RPM all the time, regardless of load. If you just want to power something tiny, like a phone charger or an LED lamp, this generator still has to run full speed all the time. Noisy generators make for bad neighbors. Fuel efficiency. Most generators of this style, including this one, average about 1/2 gallon of gasoline every hour. That's 12 gallons per day, which is about $50 every single day that it runs. Many people do not even have 3 5-gallon gas cans, which makes filling this thing super inconvenient. It's heavy. It's fine if you have one with wheels and you can move it out of your garage, and start it up. But 2 men would struggle to pick this thing up and put it in the bed of a truck. To take full advantage of the power output requires a special cord. An electrician is required to install a special generator outlet and a transfer switch if you want to power your house with this thing. And that setup alone is likely to cost $1,000, not including the purchase of the generator. If you're not taking advantage of this and instead just plugging in a couple of extension cords, this is super wasteful and a poor use of this type of generator. And the most serious issue, in my opinion, is dirty power. This unit in particular does pretty good, but most of the cheaper generators of this style really struggle to produce consistent 60 Hz power. If you plug a meter into a wall outlet and measure the electricity from the grid, it will be 60.0 Hz, spot on. Same thing with this little Honda, 60.0 Hz all day long. With these big generators, especially the cheap ones, frequency is a function of engine RPM. Oftentimes, you can hear the generator speed up or slow down with your own ears. And when that happens, the hertz or the frequency is also speeding up and slowing down. And this can fry circuit boards in your appliances or electronics. These days, almost everything has a circuit board inside. There are many instances of this type of generator destroying refrigerators, stoves, air conditioning units, or TVs. The cheaper the generator, generally the greater the concern. A Honda or a Generac, which costs more than the cheapest junk available at big box stores, tend to have much tighter regulation. But just know it's super risky to power expensive appliances from a cheap generator. If I could only afford one type of generator, it would be something like this Honda EU 2000. This one is really beat up, and I've had it for probably 15 or 20 years, but it still starts first or second pull, and it purrs like a kitten. While it's called a generator, it's actually an alternator and an inverter. This arrangement means that it can create perfectly clean power safe for sensitive electronics over a wide range of engine speeds. Inverter type generators match RPM to load. In other words, if the only thing you are powering is a phone charger or a lamp, the engine will idle at slow speed and just purr right along. When the refrigerator compressor kicks on or some other significant load is called for, the engine speeds up to provide more current, all while the inverter continues to output perfect 60 Hz power. While they do make bigger models of inverter generators, the biggest disadvantage of this model is it only makes 120 volts and is incapable of powering most submersible well pumps. It's also limited in what it can power. At 2,000 watts or less, you cannot run central air, your electric stove, or other large electrical loads. It will, however, power 2 refrigerators, lights, TV, phone chargers, sump pump, etc. I don't know the code requirements, but a generator like this can easily power your natural gas or propane furnace if it's wintertime. Ultra quiet. These generators are so quiet you can stand next to it and carry on a normal conversation. Whereas with a cheap generator, you really should have ear protection if standing near it for any length of time. Quiet generators make good neighbors. Also, if you live in a neighborhood where theft is an issue, this generator is less likely to be noticed by thieves because they can't tell it's running. Lightweight. This thing weighs about the same as a 5-gallon can of gas. Super easy to pick up and transport. Clean power. Honda advertises it as making power as clean or cleaner than you get from a wall outlet. Safe for sensitive electronics. Fuel efficient. I average 12 hours per gallon of fuel. That's 2 gallons per day. If you store it with a full tank, a single 5-gallon gas can is enough to provide 3 days of clean, quiet, continuous power. No special generator hookup is required. Because of its low power output and lack of ability to provide 240 volts, this type of generator is best suited to simply plugging in an extension cord or two into this unit and then directly plugging in your refrigerator, lamps, chargers, etc. on the other end. I might use one cord for the fridge and a second cord with a power strip for the other items. A lot of cheaper alternatives exist to an actual Honda. Harbor Freight sells a Chinese clone that people seem to be quite happy with, and I think you can find inverter generators at the big box stores too. My opinion is that long term, a Honda is likely more reliable when you pull it out to use it 5, 10, 20 years from now. The Honda is way more likely to still be working, but spending $500 on a Harbor Freight inverter generator today is a lot more attractive than the $1,200 or whatever the going rate is for a Honda. So in short, if you're only going to have one, buy an inverter generator, even if it's not a Honda. It will likely save lots of frustration and money for just purchasing a, quote, cheaper alternative.